Tikulandireni kwa mpakanema wa Parliament lero lolemba pa 19 February 2024. Dzina langa ndi Chikondi Manjawira. Tikupepesa kuti simunathe kuonera kanema wa Parliament pa Clear komanso Go TV kamba kavuto la makina lomwe tinali nalo. Tikupitiriza kupatsirani tsatanetsatane wa zokambirana za phungu a nyumba ya malamulo. Malingana ndi ndondomeko yoyendetsera zokambirana za phungu m'nyumbayi, lero tikuyembekeza kuti aphunguwa ayamba zokambirana zawo popitiriza kuthirira ndemanga pa zomwe mtsogoleri wa dziko lino adalankhula ku mtundu wa Malawi m'nyumba ya malamulo pa 9 February 2024. Tikuyembekezeranso kuti aphunguwa akambirana mabilu ndi malipoti a maunduna osiyanasiyana mwa zina. Well, if you're just joining us, you are watching Parliament TV. Today is Monday, the 19th of February 2024. I am Chikondi Manjawira. We apologize for the loss of signal on our MDBNL and GoTV channels for the past couple of days. This was due to a technical fault which our engineers have now resolved. We regret for any inconvenience caused. We continue with our live coverage of the fourth meeting of Parliament in the 50th session. According to the order paper today, we expect the House to start with general debate on the motion on the President's State of the Nation address. This will be a continuation of the debate from the past week. The House is also expected to tackle bills, ministerial statements, laying of statutory reports, and laying of subsidiary legislation. We now cross over to the chamber as the Speaker's procession is making its way into the House. Stay tuned in.
Who in your wisdom and goodness has appointed the office of the rulers and parliaments for the welfare of society and the just government of the people, we ask you to behold with your abundant favors your servants, whom you have been pleased to call to the performance of important trusts in this land. Let your blessings descend upon us here assembled, and grant that we may treat and consider all matters that shall come under deliberation in so just and faithful a manner as to promote your honor and glory, and to advance the peace, prosperity, and welfare of this country and of those whose interests you have committed to our charge. Amen.
General business, communication from the chair.
Good afternoon, honorable members. I have no communication to make. Machinga East, you're rising.
Madam Speaker, I'm rising on a point of order. Is it in order, Madam Speaker, that our leadership, like UDF, one of our leaders is behind myself? So it has been a practice in this House that leadership of the party should sit close so that they should be able to share notes. So I would like to ask your office to guide whether the current sitting plan where the leader is behind members is in order. I submit.
Very much. Or member for Machinga East will come back with a communication on that point of order. Thank you.
Government business, motion motion on the President's State of the Nation address, that this House to agree with the State of the Nation address graciously delivered by His Excellency the President, Dr. Lazarus Makathecha Chakwera, on Friday, 9th February 2024, continuation of general debate.
Thank you, honourable members. Continuation of debate. Yes, honourable member for Palom, Mulanje North, and then Machinga East, and Chitipa South, and then Commissioner Nkatabe West.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for recognizing the people of Mulanje North to comment on the SONA that was presented in this House by the State President of the Republic of Malawi, Dr. Lazarus Makathecha Chakwera, on 9 February 2024. Madam Speaker, allow me to comment on agriculture. Madam Speaker, on page 14 and 16 of the SONA, there's an identification of mega farms which the President mentioned. And that's the only way we can enhance agricultural production in this country. This is a very welcome, as we know that our people need to have bumper yield. Again, Madam Speaker, on irrigation, the program for rural irrigation development, PRIDE, which aims to develop 8,765 hectares of new schemes and rehabilitate 1,980 hectares of existing schemes, with a total of 10,000 beneficiary households, is a very exciting story, as the farmers in the rural areas will have bumper yield. Madam Speaker, on the same note, allow me to ask the Minister of Agriculture to consider rehabilitating Chinama irrigation scheme, which was washed away by Cyclone Freddy. Since that time, I have been discussing with the officials in Mulanje District Council, but nothing is promising. So I would like to ask the government, through Minister of Agriculture, to assist the people at the Chinama irrigation scheme, where everything was washed away during Cyclone Freddy, so that the farmers should resume their irrigation scheme. On health, Madam Speaker, I quote, on page 45, bullet 2 of the SONA reads, we contained the cholera outbreak which ravaged our nation from February 2022 to July 2023 and left a death toll of 1,766 out of 58,938 cases. Madam Speaker, this is very pleasing. This shows that the government and Minister of Health worked tirelessly. We know how dangerous cholera is. Madam Speaker, let me take this opportunity to inform the Minister of Health that the cholera outbreak has affected Mulanje North constituency. And last Friday, I was there just to appreciate the situation. Good enough, Madam Speaker, out of 77 patients who were admitted at the Mulomba Health Center, 72 patients were discharged. Only 5 remained in the hospital. This shows that the personnel or the staff personnel at the Mulomba Health Center is a very dedicated staff. And again, Madam Speaker, they have the spirit of love to the people they serve. That's why I went there on Saturday to thank them and appreciate, so that they should continue with the spirit. By saying this, Madam Speaker, I don't want the minister to transfer them to another health center, because I still need them in my constituency. What we should do is just to give them incentives so that they should be encouraged and working extra. Secondly, what is disappointing me, Madam Speaker, is that the ambulance they had was removed to the district. How can we take an ambulance from a rural area to a district instead of having that ambulance at the rural? I would like to ask the Honorable Minister of Health to make sure that the ambulance that was removed from Mulomba Health Center should be brought back, so that these officers should be using it. On energy, Madam Speaker, we all know that energy is one of the key factors that can improve development in a country. Madam Speaker, I have been speaking here proudly, or standing here proudly, mentioning about 5 centers, which I have been assisted since 2020. Nakamba, Dulankani, Masuku, Gowero, and Kamwendo. As we are saying that the energy brings development, Madam Speaker, I have experienced salons, barber shops, and even men's mills where we could only go to Palombe and Chirazulo to have access for men's mills using electricity. This time everything is within Mulanje North constituency, and the people are very proud of this. May I take this opportunity, Madam Speaker, to request the Minister of Energy to extend this electrification at Chanje Health Center, Dianyama, Basare, and Ndanga, so that the people around this area should also feel the good of having electricity. That's the only way they can improve their lives. If they are doing different businesses, even during at late night or late evening, they also continue doing different businesses. That's the only way we can improve the lives of our people in the country. Madam Speaker, let me come on transport. Madam Speaker, one way to improve the lives of the people in a country or area is by providing them with a good road network for easy communication. Madam Speaker, on pages 30 to 34 of the SONA, there's a mention of bridges and roads which have been mentioned that the government will construct and rehabilitate. Madam Speaker, may I take this, or well, I appreciate this, may I request the Honorable Minister of Transport to consider assisting the people of Mulanje North with Nkando, Mulomba, Palombe Road. Madam Speaker, the cyclones that came previously, we had the Cyclone Anna, Cyclone Gombe, started eroding this road from Nkando via Mulomba to Palombe. And then finally, the coming of Cyclone Freddy finished the whole road, including the bridges. I have been discussing with the Minister of Transport to come in and assist us with this road. Madam Speaker, this road is a very important road, a commercial road. This road connects Palombe, Mulomba, and Nkando. We have 2 big markets at Palombe and Mulomba, via Mulomba to Nkando. Most of the farmers in my constituency fail to go and sell their tomatoes in Nkando. Madam Speaker, people in my constituency are very hard-working people. They produce different crops, but they fail to reach these markets because of this road. And secondly, Madam Speaker, what pains me is this. In 1990s, during Kamu's era, that road had Limbi via Mulomba, Migowi bus. Now you can imagine, in 1970s, having a bus. This time the road is impossible. Should we say that that area is developing or is deteriorating in development? Madam Speaker, something must be done. Something must be done. For your information, Madam Speaker, that road connects 3 constituencies, Mulanje West, Mulanje North, and Palombe South. You can see. How can our people travel to these big markets if the roads are not passable? May I request the Minister, please? Even without putting a tarmac, what I'm requesting is just to add gravel on top and maintain the roads which were washed away so that the road should be passable. And again, Madam Speaker, this road is the shortest road to Limbi and even to Mulanje Boma. The people of Mulanje North, especially Mulomba Ward, they are suffering a lot. They can't go via that place. Instead, they go via Chirazulo, which is a very long distance. Madam Speaker, please, the government, this is the listening government, as you always say. If you are a listening government, I will see you coming and assisting the people of Mulanje North with this road. Madam Speaker, finally on CDF. Madam Speaker, the increase which the president did from 30 million to 100 million, no, Madam Speaker, is something we should appreciate. I'm saying this, Madam Speaker, because it's only the CDF which has assisted or has shown that the Mulanje North is developing because of CDF. Madam Speaker, I have constructed teachers' houses at the following primary schools: Muromba, Masangwani, Chirera, Dianyama and Sagawa. On top of that, school blocks again, I have constructed using CDF. Muromba, Masangwani, Kamwendo, and Chitimbe, and Mulambe. Madam Speaker, not only this, I have also managed to construct staff offices, good ones, at the Muromba Community Day Secondary School and at the Kamwendo Primary School. I have also managed to construct the following bridges: Sanjale Bridge, Chingates, Motoni, Nakamba, to Nakambazi, Namiseche. Madam Speaker, finally, on the same issue, I have managed to construct a police unit using the CDF and a staff house for the officer in the constituency. I am standing here a proud woman because of the development I have used using CDF. Madam Speaker, with these few remarks, I thank you for recognizing Mulanje North to say something. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honourable Member for Mulanje North. Minister of Tourism, you're rising?
Yes, Madam Speaker, I would like to make a contribution to this honour.
You space immediately after the ones that I've already recognized. Thank you. Machinga East.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker, for recognizing the people of Machinga East constituency.
Starting at 14:13, 14:14. You have 10 minutes.
Thank you. Thank you for recognizing the people of Machinga East constituency to give their views on the state of the national address delivered by His Excellency Dr. Lazarus Makathe Chakwera. Madam Speaker, standing here, I'm coming from an area where currently, out of 100 people, 40% they are living depending on grasses. As we speak, Madam Speaker, we are having a lot of deaths because people, they do not have anything to eat. You may recall, Madam Speaker, that last year there was Cyclone Freddy, and my constituency was one of the constituencies which was affected by Cyclone Freddy. So starting from last year up to this year, and looking at our fields, what is happening there, Madam Speaker, Malawians are suffering.
Guys, there's a point of order. What has gone out of order, Nkata Bay Central?
Madam Speaker, is it in order for the honourable member taking to the floor to refer to people as living on grass? How can people live on grass? G-R-A-S-S, grass. How can people live? Are these animals? Thank you, Madam.
Honourable member for Nkata Bay Central, she didn't say grass, but I'm sure you got what she wanted to say. Thank you. Proceed, Machinga East.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker. I would like, Madam Speaker, to comment on the state of the national address, starting from page 3, where the President called this House to be serious when handling issues of national importance. I would like to agree with the President on that one. Madam Speaker, after agreeing with the President, I did an analysis where this House was seen to be not serious on issues of national importance. Madam Speaker, we do deliberate, we do pass budget here, and after passing budget, we expect that the administration will take over and systems will work to make sure that the budget passed by this House should be implemented. But what I have seen, Madam Speaker, I still feel that the broken system which the President talked about last time is still not fixed. And because it is not fixed, we are failing to service Malawians. Madam Speaker, I would like to remind the President that after this House passed budgets, we did so that some of the officials procured maize from East Bridge. We also experienced some officials procuring fertilizer from Barakat's butcher. We also see, Madam Speaker, that there is the politicization of development. On that one, Madam Speaker, I would want to say the current government started constructing in Sanamanayuchi Road, and they have managed to construct 10 kilometers, of which we do appreciate. But because of political reasons, they have decided not to continue with that road, and the message has received very well where I'm coming from. Madam Speaker.
Member for Machinga East, there's a government chief whip rising. Honorable Chief Whip, you're rising.
Madam Speaker, I think the honorable member is making a very, very serious allegation, and I was thinking that maybe she should explain what she means by that political interference to say that the project was stopped. Because what I know is that that project was done in phases, and the first phase was over. And when that's done, you go for the next phase. And so, but she's saying the project was stopped when the project was actually finished. So I thought the honorable member is misleading the House.
Honorable Minister, honorable member, some clarification from the Minister of Transport.
Madam Speaker, you and me, we are all Malawians, and we know that the government is implementing a lot of projects, including roads. So they are implementing roads from other areas where they are getting support and living where I'm coming from. So I would want to ask them that if it is not about politics, why have they stopped the same road which they started? So I would, Madam Speaker, I will not withdraw my point, because I know I did took people from my constituency. We went to meet the honorable minister who was standing. So what I'm talking, I know what I'm talking, Madam Speaker. So if you ask clarity, the clarity will come from the government that why are they managing to construct roads in other areas and not Sanamanayuchi Road. Madam Speaker, I do recall that the president also assigned the vice president to do reform, and they did submit their report. Up to now, the report is not yet out. Malawians are eager to know what was there in the report. Those things I have outlined, Madam Speaker, I was asking myself whether it is this House which is not serious, or maybe the executive is not serious, taking into what I have outlined here. Madam Speaker, on page 9, the President talked about austerity measures which was put in place, up to the extent that the President did not go for COP28 in Dubai to say that he would want to save the money, so that the money saved should go to add more beneficiaries of fertilizer AIP, as well as to procure maize. Even during budget review, we did reduce some of the allocation into different ministries and departments to make sure that we are saving. We have been waiting, Madam Speaker, as per the President told the nation that the money saved, it is going to be used to address these two issues, fertilizer and maize. Up to now, we haven't seen any additional beneficiary from the saved money. I know, Madam Speaker, there was an attempt to increase the beneficiaries by 300,000 people. Up to now, they haven't increased anyone. So my question to the President, when he will be coming to answer questions in this House, I would like to find out from him the money which was saved by him not going to COP, because to me, I was feeling that the COP is very important, because the President could have network and at least get something for Malawians. So we would want to see what we have saved. What is it that we have given to Malawians? Madam Speaker, even after the President announced the austerity measures, I saw the president from nowhere going to DR Congo to celebrate the second mandate of the president of DR Congo, His Excellency Felix Antoine Tshisekedi. Madam Speaker, the time the president was going to DR Congo, it was within the austerity measures. And if you ask me and the people of Machinga East constituency, I could have loved the president to go for COP28 and delegate someone to go to Congo to represent Malawi. So, Madam Speaker, I was asking myself that when the president says something, something is happening. It's either the technical part is not implementing what the president is saying, or the president sometimes himself not following what he has told Malawians. So in those circumstances, Madam Speaker, I feel that if this House is not serious, even the executive is not serious as well. Madam Speaker, we have seen as well that the Honorable Minister of Defense declared to say, apart from the arrangement, the United Nations arrangement, Malawi will be deploying battalions to DR Congo. So these things, they are happening. The president went to DR Congo. The minister was also, with his counterparts, talking about the support of Malawi to DR Congo. Few days after the president of DR Congo declared war between DR Congo and Rwanda. And in some media platforms.
The Honorable Minister of Defense and Minister of Foreign Affairs.
Is out of order.
Sorry, I don't know which one to recognize first because I can only get one more. Okay, Minister of Defense.
Right Honorable Speaker, is it in order for the Honorable MP to be talking about security matters here? The President did not go to DR Congo to celebrate. He went there to have a meeting with his counterpart, whose details I cannot say it here for obvious reasons. Now, is it in order for the MP to be saying things that she has no idea about?
Honorable Minister of Defense, Honorable Minister of Foreign Affairs, I did recognize two whilst she's on the floor, so I'll give you immediately after she finishes, because I can only recognize two whilst she's giving, she's on the floor, then I'll give you immediately after she concludes her statement. And Honorable, you've got a minute or so to go. Mm-hmm.
So much, Madam Speaker. Continuing from there,
actually, I should have ruled on the Minister of Defense's issue, that issues of security, honorable members, we have to make sure that we're discussing within our bounds issues to do with security. Thank you.
Actually, I'm not discussing anything to do with Malawi. What I'm saying is Malawi supporting DR Congo. At the moment, DR Congo declared war between them and Rwanda. And it was in media. We do have clips. It's the whole statement which the president was speaking to the citizens. I do have, if they want, even them they do have. So we have to be careful when also handling with our cooperative affairs. Madam Speaker, I would like to ask the President to make sure that the money for Constituency Development Fund should be increased. Why I'm saying so? Because it is the only money which is not being politicized, where each and every member from opposition or ruling party is able to use to help the communities. So there is a need to make sure that constituency development fund should be increased. Madam Speaker, I've got 2 questions to pose. The first one is whether Madam
From
Speaker,
Zimba South, I'll give you immediately after she takes the floor.
my first question, Madam Speaker, is whether Malawi is a place of equal opportunities. The second one, who could have thought that during the leadership of Dr. Makathe Chakwera, under the MCP government, Malawians could be sleeping empty stomach, with an empty stomach, and Malawians dying due to hunger. I submit, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Machinga East. Honorable Minister of Foreign Affairs.
Madam Speaker, thank you for the opportunity. I would like to submit as follows. The DRC, the Democratic Republic of Congo, has not declared war on Rwanda. Is the honorable member paying attention?
Minister, address the chair. Thank you.
The Democratic Republic of Congo, Madam Speaker, has not declared war on Rwanda at all. There has not been that declaration. What we are doing in the DRC, we are a part of the SADC contingent that is helping to bring peace to the eastern DRC. We are a part of the SADC because SADC, we belong to SADC. There is Tanzania, there is South Africa, and there is us. So we have a contingent that is there working together with our SADC, other SADC countries, one. Secondly, on the issue of the trip to the COP, the president decided on his own accord that he was not going to go there, but he gave he delegated that issue to the Minister of Climate Change and Natural Resources. And there were quite a few ministers that represented Malawi adequately in the DRC. When the president decided to do that, he did not pinpoint that the money saved shall go to AIP or it will go to what. When the president said that, he was safeguarding resources for the government. But because of other emergencies, he had to go to the DRC. And if there could be other, just like in your own personal life, when something happens that you did not foresee, you always go and do what is the needful. And that's what the president did. But that is not to say the president shall not travel, but he has tried to cut. There are several meetings that the president should have gone to attend. Like right now, there's the AU meeting that is taking place. The president should have been at the AU, but he has decided to sit home and to send people that can represent him there. Yes, it is a point of order.
Honorable Minister, Honorable Minister, address the chair. Address the chair, Honorable Minister.
And the president the president is going to do what is best for Malawi. The president has an agenda that he's pursuing. It will not be a UDF agenda, it is the Malawi agenda. And whatever the president is doing is for the good of this country. I submit.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. Honorable members, I know you're asking, but the minister obviously has to clarify, and she has that right as a cabinet minister to clarify. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Speaker.
From Zimba South, yes, I did.
Yeah, thank you for giving the people of Zimba South a point of order. Madam Speaker, is it in order that the member from Machinga East, the critical word that she has been using in her speech is being serious? Is it in order that throughout her speech, 10 minutes, she is not able to mention any project that she has done with the Constituency Development Fund, which the same President, Dr. Lazarus Makathe Chakwera, increased in her constituency? Is it in order, or can we recommend that the ACB should go to her constituency and investigate what she has done with the CDF, because she's not able to explain which project she has done with the CDF. Is it in order, Madam Speaker? She has not mentioned any project, and now she's saying the CDF should be increased. She has not mentioned any project. What has she done with the money with the CDF to dare to claim that the president should increase the CDF again? Is it in order, Madam Speaker?
Honourable Member for Mzimba South, the Honourable Member for Machinga East has got a right on how she makes a presentation on the speech in the House. So she was in order to present her statement as she has done. Thank you. I had recognized, no, contribution. I still have 2 on the list. I'll give you after those 2. Yes, I'll give you. Leader of UDF and Zomba Tonya.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Is it in order? Firstly, Madam Speaker, I want to bring to the attention of this House that the only person that speaks for UDF in as far as SONA is the leader. Honourable Member for Machinga was contributing on the behalf of the people of Machinga East, not UDF. I'm saying this because the Honourable Minister has mentioned something about the agenda of UDF. So I would want her to withdraw, as the Honourable Member was contributing on the behalf of her people in her constituency. Thank you.
Withdraw on the mention of UDF? Text in which she has said it, I don't think it warrants a withdrawal, Leader.
She had put it as if Jorobala, Honourable Member for Machinga East, is contributing the agenda of UDF. This wasn't the agenda of UDF. She was speaking on the behalf of the people of Machinga
I do
East.
agree with you at that point, and that's why even in Mzimba South, I've told him that Honourable Member for Machinga East was making a contribution as a member of Machinga East, and she's got a right of how she makes that presentation. So I'm sure that is very clear that she was contributing as a member of Machinga East. Thank you. Continue on the same matter, Honourable.
We were surprised that the Honourable Minister mentioned the UDF's agenda.
Yes, but maybe that's something that you can ask on the UDF agenda. Well, but I don't think it warrants a withdrawal, and you said, Honourable. Honourable Member for, I think the next one was Chitipa South, and then there is the Nkata Bay West. Yeah, no, that was the first round. Then I'll go round. I'll pick.
Thank you very much, Madam Right Honourable Speaker, for recognizing the people of Chitipa South who had a voice to the SONA, ably represented by His Excellency the State President of the Republic of Malawi, Dr. Lazarus Makathi Chakwera, on Friday, 9th February 2024. Let me also take this opportunity, through you, Madam Speaker, to thank the people of Chitipa South, from T.A. Wavikaza, T.A. Ntengatenga, and Senior T.A. Ntalire, for entrusting me with the responsibility of representing them. Madam Speaker, before I go to the actual SONA, allow me to have a small preamble, and also to request you that I've got a problem, I've got side problems today, so I will be referring to my notes now and again, and very close to the notes, so it will not be reading. It's because I have got problems of the site. Madam Speaker, let me first of all express my worry over some sections of our own standing orders, which are very obscure and misleading in one way or the other. A very good example is Standing Order 35, where it is talking about the election of the leader of opposition by a political party in opposition that has the largest number of members of parliament. Madam Speaker, to me this is very misleading because the leader of opposition represents a bloc.
Member for Chitipa South. Honourable Member for Chitipa South. Well, we are discussing issues that I think are in court. Do we want to be discussing these matters here? We're supposed to be discussing about the SONA, please. Chitipa South.
Madam Speaker, I have got a very comprehensive response to the SONA.
Yes, but we cannot be discussing matters that are in court, Honorable.
No,
please.
okay. Now, the other section is section 105. Let me leave with section 35. Let me talk of 105. 105, Right Honorable Speaker, if you give marching orders to someone to leave this house, it is very weak. People decide not to move out, and the standing order is saying that if somebody doesn't move out, the sergeant at arms should go and force that person out of the chamber. This is very unfair to the sergeant at arms. A single-handed person carrying a load on his shoulder, yet we have a lot of...
Mulanje, is it Mulanje West? You have the floor.
Is it in order, Right Honorable Speaker?
South, your microphone, please.
Are you mercenaries?
South, your mic.
Are you mercenaries? I think you are mercenaries.
Honorable member
right,
for Mulanje West,
Speaker,
address the chair, please.
There are some people there who are mercenaries. True, you are mercenaries.
The floor,
mercenaries, that means
order, honorable members on my right, order, please.
Noise. Somebody has paid you in order to make noise. That is known. Is it in order, Right Honorable Speaker, that the honorable member can be talking about standing order when instead of talking about the SONA? Thank you.
The honorable member for Mulanje West. Of course, in terms of, can I have order, honorable members on my right, please? Can I have order? In terms of discussion, standing orders can be talked about at any point, because this is our guiding principle and tool. But the only thing I couldn't allow him is to discuss matters that are in court. Thank you. And then how he wants to debate, obviously, it's really up to him. Thank you.
Madam Speaker, thank you.
Honorable South, there's another point of order.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. Was it in order for the honorable member for Mulanje Southwest to describe honorable members of parliament as mercenaries? Madam Speaker, the word mercenary, I think it's too strong coming from a learned person, a lawyer for that matter. Who is a mercenary? Who is a mercenary in his own understanding? Because we are referring to a professional soldier hired by any other entities working in a foreign country. Are these members professional soldiers working in a foreign country? Or is it in order, Right Honorable Speaker? Because now we are misleading not only Malawians but the international community, and this is very dangerous. Because at one point when you send me or my colleagues to participate in a conference outside the country, people will be saying, oh, look at the mercenaries, they are here. Madam Speaker, he has to withdraw. Was that in order?
Thank you, Honorable Member for Doha West. Honorable Member, indeed the word mercenary is inappropriate. It's not derogatory, but it's inappropriate.
Right, Honorable Speaker, it can be construed. It can be construed that somebody who has received money from somebody in order to make noises for somebody in this house.
If that's the case, can I have order on my right? If that's the case, obviously, it's something that you might have to give in the evidence, than generalizing that that's what has happened in the house, because that is a serious allegation, Honorable. Thank you.
I have reason to believe that that is so.
Just not a matter of reason, but you might have to give in the proof that that's what has happened.
I can always provide evidence later.
Thank you.
Madam Speaker, I've lost quite some minutes through this point of orders. Madam Speaker, I would suggest that our standing orders must at one point be revised. This should never happen because it is putting the security of this House at a very big risk. Even yourself, Right Honourable Speaker, and all the members were being put at risk because if members can refuse to listen to the marching orders, suppose there is a confusion, people are fighting, and we are only relying on the sergeant at arms, yet we have a lot of security officers around. It doesn't happen in other countries, Madam Speaker, that someone is given marching orders and he decides to defy the Right Honourable Speaker. It doesn't happen. Madam Speaker, coming to the SONA, the leader of opposition, the genuine leader of opposition, when he was responding to the SONA, he mentioned of our democracy retrogressing because of the big man syndrome. I am saying that the leader of opposition mentioned that our democracy is retrogressing because of the big man syndrome. Madam Speaker, we have got political parties in this country which claim to be democratic, some of which even claim that the ones which brought democracy in this country, they are using the word democracy on the names of their parties. But when you look at it practically,
order, please, Longwe City Center.
The democracy which they are practicing is totally fake democracy. Why am I saying this? I am not hiding, I am not afraid, because in 1994, when we were voting for multi-party democracy, I also participated. So the democracy that we fought for in 1994 is not the one that is being practiced by some political parties now. We don't want democracy where selection of leadership is based on blood lineage or is based on the syndrome of my party. This is not going to take us anywhere, Madam Speaker. That's why we have ended up having one SONA being responded to by the rightful leader of opposition and another one being responded to outside the chamber. Madam Speaker, let me come to the actual SONA. Madam Speaker, when I have been in opposition myself from 2014 to 2018, then from 2020 to date, I have been in opposition. What we are taught in opposition is that when you go in the chamber or if you are outside, just oppose government, just oppose. Whether it is good or bad, just stand up and just oppose. Madam Speaker, I'm pleased as Werani Chilenga, a member of parliament from Chitipa South, to inform you that the people of Chitipa South will not do that from now onwards. And oppose just for the sake of opposing. In fact, Madam Speaker, after having looked at the SONA, this SONA, which was beautifully presented by His Excellency, the people of Chitipa South have got nothing to oppose. Madam Speaker, what the people of Chitipa South want is development. That's what they want, that's what they are looking for from the head of state, and that's what they are expecting from Dr. Lazarus Chakwera. And they have told me that they know that elections are 18 months from now. And they believe that all what they had requested from government, a simple road from Kapirinkonde to Mpata, Ntalile Health Center, Ntalile Rural Hospital, Mahove Health Center, Terere Health Center, and of course the famous Nyika Road. The people of Chitipa South still believe that His Excellency is going to do this thing. Therefore, if we believe that His Excellency is going to do these things, why should we come here and start fighting government, which at the end of the day will benefit the people of the constituency? Madam Speaker, as much as some of us have been in this chamber listening to what members have been contributing on the SONA, some responses from other quarters were condemning government, that the government has not done much, or government has done nothing in mining. Through you, Madam Speaker, allow me to read evidence here that the government of Malawi has done quite a lot, and we are at a very advanced stage in this country in mining. A very good example is that the government of Malawi has signed a mining development agreement with Global Metals to mine niobium in Muzimba district. As that was not enough, this Global Metals wanted to have their refinery in either Namibia or Dubai, United Arab Emirates. But because of the wise negotiations which government took, Global Metals has rescinded their decision. They are going to put the refinery here in Malawi. Now, allow me, Madam Speaker, to read another good example. This one I have to read because it has got figures and what have you. So I cannot mention those figures from my head. Madam Speaker, Sovereign Metals was licensed to explore graphite at Kasia in Lilongwe, but ended up discovering a huge mineral anomaly of rutile, which the company has been following up to date. This is under the current leadership. And someone is saying there is nothing taking place in mining. Thus, in February 2021, the company announced its maiden mineral resource estimate of 644 million tons. Of natural rutile discovery
Member
at
for
Kasia.
Chitipa South, you have a minute to go. No. Honorable members. No. Honorable members, can I have order, please?
Okay, because I have a minute to go, let me end up my contribution by referring.
Member for Lilongwe City West, I already recognized 2 people. So
Madam Speaker,
I cannot recognize a third one during his presentation. Sorry? I already recognized 2 people when he was debating.
In my conclusion, Madam Speaker, let me request Honor.
But then it's our own rules, it's not me. I would recognize 2 while somebody is on the floor and 2 immediately after.
Madam Speaker, in the interest of time, let me request the members to go and read 2 Kings chapter 7, verse 3. On this chapter, you will find that there were 4 lepers who were sitting at the gates. They were deciding. They had come from Samaria, where there was hunger. They were at the gates, and they wanted to go to Syria. So they were saying, we cannot go back, because if we go back, we will die. So let the members go and read the whole chapter, as the people of Chitipa totally support the SONA. Chitipa South.
Thank you, Chitipa South. Honorable Whip, you're rising, Government Chief Whip.
Yes, Madam Speaker, I'm rising. I wanted to find out if it is in order for the people of Chitipa South to continue believing that this government will build the road from Kapirinkonde when this government has already started working on that road. Is it in order that they just continue believing?
Thank you, Honorable Minister of Transport. I'm sure it was on a lighter moment. The last one on this list was Nkatabe West, and then the Minister of, did recognize 4, and then there was the Minister of Tourism. After that, we'll take the South, Zomba Central, and then Lilongwe South, City Southeast. Yes.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, for recognizing the people of Nkatabe West from Kabunduli. In fact, this constituency short will be simply called Kabunduli constituency.
Point of order.
Right Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Member for Chitipa, for Rumpi East. What has gone out of order?
I'm standing on a point of order to alert you that I also want to contribute to this honor.
But Honorable Member, that is not a point of order. Thank you. Still Honorable Member for Nkatabe West.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Once again, Right Honorable Speaker, I would like to express my profound gratitude to the State President, because the SONA that was ably presented by the State President has included some of the development areas that I've been crying for in this House. Right Honorable Speaker, through his cabinet ministers and ministries, this President, His Excellency, the State President, has started delivering some of the things that we did not expect to be delivered at this time. Such things is the road that I've been crying for, Madondoro Road, that starts from Chikangawa via Mzenga to Chindheche. The minister confided in me that this road will be taken care of by this government. I think that is something that the people of Kabunduli are very thankful to the government of Malawi. Right Honorable Speaker, in my constituency, we have experienced a number of developments that have taken place, either through the direct intervention by the government departments or through CDF. It is unfortunate, Right Honorable Speaker, when you hear a sane person today saying that this SONA was empty, and yet in this SONA, you talk of every constituency that has benefited from CDF. And I remember the CDF, when I joined parliament, it was only 30 million. But by today, we're talking of 100 million. And those that have not delivered, if they are saying that there is nothing in their constituencies, I think it's better, I do agree, that there is a need for SCB to go and investigate what have they done with the money that they have been receiving from this government. In my constituency, Right Honorable Speaker, there were some things that I received directly from the government. For example, the construction of 6 bridges between Mazamba, Tanof, and Muzenga. The government, through National Roads Authority, has constructed 6 bridges. These are concrete deck bridges. And using CDF, I have done a lot in my constituency, and I think some of you will be surprised. Maybe if this man comes back to say, what does he is, he has money to come back, it's because of the development that I've done in the constituency using the CDF. I will have to single out a number of them. This time around, I've already constructed, or the schools has been constructed at different areas. Musakasa, you go to Shigabi, you go to Mapale, you go to Mbowe, you go to Chibwaka. All of these, there are school blocks. Kajirirwe, there are school blocks that are being built this time around. There are a number of teachers' houses that have been built in different schools. And there are also a number of clinics that have been built in this constituency using the CDF money. And the CDF money, one thing that is important not to forget is that when we are using CDF money, the construction of school blocks is a bit cheaper compared to those that are built direct by the government. Because there is community participation. And Right Honorable Speaker, I'll be failing in my duties if I don't mention some of the major projects. For example, a big multipurpose hall that is being built or under construction at Chiteka that will cost not less than 45 million. This time we have done the superstructure, so what we are waiting for is simply the completion and roofing it. This money, the whole of this money has come from CDF. And when I was talking of bridges, there are some of bridges that has got a wide span. And these bridges, there are 2 of them that have been constructed using the CDF, one of which has got a length of about 30 meters. Now, you can imagine CDF doing that job. Had it been that that work was to be done by the direct money from the government, it would have cost more than 200 million. But with the CDF, it has cost us less money that has been paid. Right Honorable Speaker, the President, if someone is saying that in his SONA, the SONA is empty, I think the one who says that the SONA is empty, he himself is empty in here. Because cannot see the difference between the empty SONA, the empty papers, and he himself who cannot realize and recognize what the government is doing. Let I give you examples, Right Honorable Speaker. During the time of former President Dr. Mluzi, we have to appreciate the former president in the north did a number of projects. I can single out a few of them. He built the court in Mzuzu, and he opened Mzuzu University. The Mzuzu University started from a teacher's training college. Now it is a full fledged university. And if you go to the north today, the government of Dr. Chakwera is building the magnificent library in Mzuzu. And when you go to, I was in Zomba on Saturday. If you go to Chancellor College today, the government has put up a big structure that is going, they are building now in the complex at the Chancellor College. Now, is Chancellor College or the complex that is being built by the government, is it built in the central region? The answer is no. Is it built in the north? The answer is no. So the government is trying to put or to balance the developments in all these regions. I have just mentioned a few because I have not covered the whole country. But had it been that I had the information from the ministers, possibly I would have added some of these things. One thing that we have to appreciate, even this time, there's a lot of hunger in the country, but the government is doing a lot. If you hear, you go to around the country, you see that the government is distributing free maize. And they cannot distribute free maize in each and every district at one time. It means there will be time, possibly they go to the other district. Today they go to Nkatabe, tomorrow they go to Shitiba, the other day they go to Lilongwe. It means the government is working. I was only, I should say here, as a member of parliament, I think when I saw what is in Baraka now regarding the maize, yes, I can sympathize with the government that they've got a lot of work to do because the maize is completely dry without even tasseling. And there's no rain in that region. As a national leader, we have to accept this, that just as good as the road between Baraka and Zomba, Honorable Minister of Transport and Infrastructure, please attend to that road. The road is bad. That is a national road from Zomba, from Chingeni Turnoff to Zomba. The road is bad. We traveled using the same road this last Saturday. So, Right Honorable Speaker, Madam, I thank you very much for recognizing the people of Nkatabe West to contribute. I thank you.
Very much, Honorable Member for Nkatabe West. Honorable Minister of Tourism.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker, for giving me an opportunity to contribute to the SONA. Allow me to start by saying that you have got to admire the authenticity of the President of the Republic of Malawi, His Excellency Dr. Lazarus Chakwera, his consistency over what he wants to do, what he wants his legacy to be. From the first SONA to this one, he's been saying that he wants to be remembered for having done three things: creating jobs, creating wealth, and ensuring that his people are food secure. And that's what he has been championing throughout his legacy up to this very moment. And that's what we saw even in this SONA, where he emphasized the importance of focusing on the ATM strategy. In agriculture, Madam Speaker, we are now able to see the fruits of what he has been saying, because I think a lot of people didn't see. They were speaking a lot, but you cannot create a mega farm in 2 weeks. But now people are able to see what he was saying. In 2020, we sat down as a nation and created a vision for ourselves, a 40-year strategy, the Malawi 2063. But we knew that we couldn't implement a 40-year strategy. We wanted to be a middle-income country by 2030, and now we are able to see that it is now possible. So we created the MIP-1, Malawi Implementation Plan 1. Under that, we have three key functions, Madam Speaker: commercializing our agriculture, urbanizing our economy, as well as industrializing our nation. And as you can see, Madam Speaker, all three things can now be seen. Through the mega farms, we are now focusing on production. We are going to start creating industries therefrom. We are going to start producing high-value crops from this land. We are now receiving orders for the high-value crops that we have never seen, under the wise and dynamic leadership of His Excellency, the President. The second thing, Madam Speaker, that must be admired is the issue of mining, which Honorable Chair of Natural Resources, I've forgotten his constituency, Shitipa South, has ably stated. The mining development agreements that we can see, We are going to have a gold refinery right here on the soil of Malawi. Madam Speaker, when he said that this country, we are sitting on gold, when he said that it is an anomaly we must correct if we have people taking our minerals outside without adding value over them in this country, it must stop. We are now seeing that that is going to come to an end. When we travel outside, we see our other countries, Tanzania, other countries showcasing their minerals. And we know that some of those may have been taken from our country. But now that is going to come to an end because we are going to start processing our minerals right here. And I'm biased towards tourism, Madam Speaker. The President, he spoke about the flight plan. Because as you can see, our Minister of Homeland Security, they now just gazetted the visa waivers for 79 countries. Madam Speaker, that is just an addition, because we already had other countries that didn't have visas. Now we have added 79 more, Madam Speaker. And a lot of people are saying now, you see, what is it that the visa waiver is not enough? You need to have an influx of flights into your country. And Madam Speaker, the President said, don't worry. We have a flight plan that we are creating. We have just signed an air service agreement that is going to see an influx of airlines coming into the country. And if we have a lot of airlines coming into the country, it means the cost of fares, airfares, is going to be reduced. If we achieve that, Madam Speaker, what it means is that we are going to double, even triple, the number of tourists coming into our country. What we have done is to elevate the role of tourism as far as socio-economic development of this country is concerned. Who would not admire a man like this? Madam Speaker, what I wanted to say was just to highlight the interdependence of the ATM strategy to the overall economy of this country. Because when the Minister of Transport and Public Works sits down and starts looking at his roads, he's going to look at the roads that are connected to the ATM strategy. When the Minister of Energy is looking at where to connect or where to put his, what do you call these ones? Transmitters. He's going to look at where are the mining activities are going to take place, where people are going to be constructing the hotels. When the Minister of Finance is considering about tax waivers and all of that, he's going to see who is bringing a lot of investments in one sector, especially in the sectors of ATM. And so, Madam Speaker, I just wanted to commend His Excellency the President of the Republic of Malawi, His Excellency Dr. Lazarus Chakwera, for his wisdom that is going to stand the test of time, and our children's children will bear testimony of a leader that would have walked the soils of Malawi. I do thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Minister of Tourism. Zomba Central, and then there's the South. Yeah. Zomba Central, and then there's the South.
Thank you, Right Honorable Madam Speaker, for according the people of Zomba Central to contribute on the SONA that was presented by the President of Malawi on 9th February 2024. Madam Speaker, as I begin my contribution, I would like to echo what my honorable colleague said, that it pains to stand in here while a lot of Malawians out there, Madam Speaker, are starving. Madam Speaker, this hunger has not spared districts in Malawi. In Chitipa, in Nsanje, Zomba, Mangochi, Madam Speaker, a lot of people are barely having food. May I request, Madam Speaker, the government to intervene as soon as possible so that we do not lose Malawians because of this hunger that has stricken this country. As I contribute to the speech that was made by His Excellency the President, Madam Speaker, I would want to comment on transport and infrastructure. Let me reckon that in Zomba City, Madam Speaker, the government has constructed a number of roads that we reckon that they have changed the face of Zomba. Worth saying, Madam Speaker, is that a number of roads are currently being constructed. And let me ask the government to increase the budget allocation to these roads so that they should be completed. Suffice to say, Madam Speaker, that the government should expedite the construction of Zomba Stadium. Madam Speaker, it is the only hope that Zomba City and surrounding areas has, because, Madam Speaker, as you are aware, that Zomba City is the least growing city amongst the 4 cities that we have in Malawi. As such, Madam Speaker, this stadium, when completed, will improve the economic status of Zomba. Madam Speaker, the economy of Zomba barely thrives maybe 3 days only in a month, waiting for the other month when people get paid. This is due to the fact that when the capital city was relocated from Zomba to Lilongwe, Madam Speaker, the city of Zomba was dead, or is dead at the moment. Thereby, I would like to request the government, Madam Speaker, to deliberately bring to Zomba City manufacturing companies, Madam Speaker, so that the economy of Zomba should thrive, so that the wealth distribution, Madam Speaker, should be equitable. Adding salt to the wound, Madam Speaker, recently, prison headquarters has been relocated to Lilongwe. If we people of Zomba City were to be given an opportunity to trade off, we would have said, Madam Speaker, leave us with the prison headquarters and you take Zomba Mental Hospital. Madam Speaker, this is exactly as milking already a thin cow. Madam Speaker, as the people of Zomba Central, we would have loved that equitably allocating wealth to cities in Malawi, as South Africa is positioned, Madam Speaker, having the capital city in Pretoria, the legislature in Cape Town, and the judicial capital is in Bloemfontein. But Madam Speaker, here in Malawi, the story is different, where everything has been allocated in Lilongwe. Madam Speaker, on industry and trade, there is mention of value addition in the SONA. But now, Madam Speaker, the how hasn't been candid. How will this value addition happen? Because I had expected, Madam Speaker, that the President would have expounded further, that this country, Madam Speaker, will have companies that will add value to the commodities that we do produce. May I therefore, Madam Speaker, implore on government to take the issue of industrialization seriously, Madam Speaker, as you are aware that on Malawi 2063 agenda, industrialization is pillar number 2. As such, we are supposed to have industries that will propel this country to economic growth. Several countries, Madam Speaker, around the world, around the globe, they have done very well because of industrialization. I can mention of Brazil, Madam Speaker, United States of America, Germany. In Asia, I can mention, Madam Speaker, Japan, China. In Africa, Madam Speaker, I can mention South Africa. I can mention Morocco, Madam Speaker. And even our neighbors, Madam Speaker. In fact, Singapore is already even there. Madam Speaker, I would like to ask the government to take advantage of the plenty raw materials that we do produce, so that, Madam Speaker, we add value and consequently improve our exports, and then, Madam Speaker, have a balance of trade. On mining, Madam Speaker, the President made mention of establishing mining regulatory authority. In the statement in the State of National Address, Madam Speaker. But allow me, Madam Speaker, to remind the President that he also mentioned the same things in the State of the National Address of 2021. But yet 3 years later, Madam Speaker, he also makes mention of the same things. Is that seriousness? Madam Speaker, after successfully establishing the National Mining Company, which is fully Malawian-owned, Madam Speaker, the question is, why then allow foreign investors to mine rare earth at Kangankude Hill? Yet, Madam Speaker, we already know that we were duped a long time ago in Kairekera, where uranium was left to private investors to mine. I thought we would have mined ourselves using the company that has been established, which is fully Malawian-owned, Madam Speaker. Indeed, Madam Speaker, we are heavily enrolled with the rutile in Kasia. And this is the largest deposit in the world. And it has been touted as a game changer, Madam Speaker. But it looks like we are in the business of celebrating too much before even we score a goal, Madam Speaker. This is the case of Bridging Foundation in November 2022, where the President said, and I quote, Madam Speaker, "Heaven may smile on us again and allowing Christmas to come early." I was thinking maybe Christmas has already come early this year again, Madam Speaker. The feasibility study that has been mentioned under mining industry, Madam Speaker, and the environmental and social impact assessment would have been done by our own companies, Madam Speaker, here in Malawi. Why am I saying this? Madam Speaker, for example, in Zambia, they have Stamico, a state mining corporation in Tanzania. In Zambia, they have investment holdings, Madam Speaker, which do the mining processes themselves for their country, Madam Speaker. In South Africa, Madam Speaker, we have African Exploration, Mining and Finance Corporation in South Africa, Madam Speaker. We have heard from the President's speech, Madam Speaker, that Sovereign Metals has partnered Rio Tinto. And Rio Tinto, Madam Speaker, was founded in 1873 rather, Madam Speaker. But this company, Madam Speaker, got defunct in 1989. Reading from the sources, I don't know why would this company be considered to partner this company so that they should continue the environmental impact assessment. Yet we already know that this company was defunct in 1989, Madam Speaker. It seems that the President has overpromised, Madam Speaker, because, Madam Speaker, why am I saying this? I'm taking into account that this is the penultimate year for his term. I wonder if that IO has understood being penultimate year, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, what has been promised in the State of the Nation Address, Madam Speaker, I doubt if they will be implemented. I'm saying this, Madam Speaker, because on 12 May 2021, on page 15, Madam Speaker, the President talked of creation of secondary cities. Liwonde, Kasungu, Bangula, and Luchenza. Where are we on this promise, Madam Speaker? Madam Speaker, on page 17, 12 May 2021, State of the Nation Address by the President.
Honorable Member for Zomba Central, there's a point of order from Zimba South.
Madam Speaker, is it in order that a member who is holding the floor can insinuate that this side of the House cannot be able to interpret ways that have been said in this House? Is it in order, Madam Speaker? Is it parliamentary that he can insinuate that we don't understand those words here? When we have got people that have got PhDs this side, when we have got people that have got masters, and Madam Speaker, he is also reading. Is it in order that he can be reading what he is speaking in this House? Because he's reading.
Yes. Thank you, Zimba South. Yes, Honorable Member for Zomba Central. reflection on other honorable members is not right. So you're not supposed to reflect on your fellow honorable members of parliament. Please, thank you.
Much obliged, Madam Speaker. On 12 May 2021, State of the National Address.
Government Chief Whip, you're rising. Zomba Central, the Chief Whip is rising.
Yes, Madam Speaker, the honourable member made a serious allegation that the Rio Tinto was actually is defunct. And yet this is currently the second largest mining company in the whole world. And it has actually produced its latest financial report of 2023. So I wanted the honourable member to give us evidence. Maybe he's referring to a different company altogether. Maybe he doesn't really understand what company he's talking about, the president was talking about. So can he bring the evidence that he's talking about? Because as far as we are concerned, this company is still thriving and is the second largest mining company in the whole world.
Thank you. Honourable Government Chief Whip. Honourable Member, clarification. I don't know whether you're talking of one and the same thing.
Madam Speaker, I was saying this Rio Tinto was defunct in 1989. Not is defunct. Was defunct in 1989.
Yeah, was.
It might have resurfaced, it might have started again, but was defunct in 1989.
Proceed.
Madam Speaker, on 12 May 2021, on page number 17, allow me to read what the President said, and I quote, in my first State of the Nation address, I committed my administration to the goal of ensuring that there is a healthy service every 5-kilometer radius. For this to happen, we intend to pursue the ambition I set last year to construct 900 healthy posts and staff accommodation in hard-to-reach areas by the year 2022. Madam Speaker, I wanted to share that where are we on this? If indeed the 900 healthy posts have been constructed by the year 2022, we are in the year 2024. And also, Madam Speaker, on page 39 to page 30, the same 12 May 2021, under Transport and Infrastructure, the President mentioned the roads in the State of the Nation address of that time, and these roads have also been mentioned in this year's State of the Nation address. Let me share the roads that were mentioned. Madam Speaker, there is this road, Lilangwe Chingare Namatunu Machinga Road, which I doubt, Madam Speaker, if ever
member, you have a minute to go.
This road has been attended
Zomba Central,
to.
Minute to go.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Which I doubt if this road has been attended to, as the Honourable Member for Nkatabe West was also pleading to government that the section from Balaka to Zomba needs to be attended to, Madam Speaker. It is our plea that this road is indeed in bad shape, where, Madam Speaker, we endure the potholes, which have been graduated into drum holes. It is very pathetic, Madam Speaker. The price of basic commodities, Madam Speaker, have skyrocketed to the extent that a Mayor Malawian, Madam Speaker, can hardly purchase a packet of sugar, can hardly purchase a kg of maize. Where is the Malawi Okomera Tonse? Where has the hype gone? Madam Speaker, with these few remarks, I submit. Thank you.
Very much. Dedza South. Lilongwe South, you're rising on a... You have the floor.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker. I didn't want to stand while my good brother there was speaking, but he made very serious, disparaging remarks against the mental hospital, basically making those remarks against those that are mentally sick. When we know that mental sickness is just like another sickness like malaria. And therefore, Honorable Speaker, I wanted you to rule whether that was really in order for him to make those derogatory remarks against the mental hospital. Thank you, Madam.
Thank you, Honourable Member for Lilongwe South. Whether it was unparliamentary or derogatory, it's neither here or there, but I'm sure Honourable Member for Lilongwe South knows why the Honourable, means the context that the Honourable Member for Zomba Central was making his contribution. Thank you. Dedza South.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, Madam, for recognizing the people of Dedza South constituency to contribute on the SONA that was ably presented and delivered to the House by His Excellency the President of the Republic of Malawi, Dr. Lazarus Makathe Chakwera. Madam Speaker, allow me to start with a quote, and I quote, "He who knows nothing loves nothing. He who can do nothing understands nothing. The more knowledge you inherit in things, that's when you see great love. Anyone who imagines all the fruits to ripe at the same time, Madam Speaker, as the strawberries know it, nothing knows about the grapes." Madam Speaker, I do stand here to confirm and to roll back into the memory lane in as far as the South constituency is concerned, Madam Speaker. Some people, they say that the SONAs don't deliver, but Madam Speaker, we have heard from Chitipa South earlier that when they went into their first caucus, they had taught themselves to say, let's oppose anything, everything, when we go into the chamber. Whether good or bad, we oppose. So, Madam Speaker, for the first time in history, since multi-party democracy, Dedza border post, we have received a new construction of the border building. Madam Speaker, it's top-notch, it's a state of the art. For the first time in history, Madam Speaker, since multi-party, governments have come, governments have gone, but they have never remembered Dedza. Madam Speaker, for the first time in history, Dedza has now, got a new road that is under construction, the Dedza Ring Road, Madam Speaker. Since multi-party, Madam Speaker, governments have come, governments have gone. All they have done is to come and play with the potholes and they leave because it's Dedza. Madam Speaker, for the first time in history, since multi-party democracy, Madam Speaker, in Dedza South, we have managed to rehabilitate Chinkombelo school blocks with CDF. Madam Speaker, for the first time in history, we have managed to construct teacher houses, under 5 clinic at Mpango primary schools using CDF. Madam Speaker, for the first time in history since multi-party in Dedza South constituency, we have managed to construct a new road with the help from the World Bank, a tarmac road, Madam Speaker, heading to TA Kasumbu headquarters. Madam Speaker, for the first time in history, we have constructed using CDF Mazumbi under 5 clinic, and Madam Speaker, for the first time in history in Dedza South constituency since multi-party democracy, we have got a health center being constructed under Mazumbi village using GSED, all powered by Dr. Lazarus Makathe Chakwera. Madam Speaker, for the first time in history, we have renovated Kalilombe Primary School using CDF. Madam Speaker, for the first time in history, we have renovated Chirinda Ugwe Primary School using CDF. Madam Speaker, for the first time in history, we have constructed Migongwe concrete deck bridge under His Excellency, the State President, Dr. Lazarus Makathe Chakwera. Madam Speaker, for the first time in history, we have constructed a new road which has been graded perfectly by the Roads Authority. That is the Chiwamba Ngozi Road. Madam Speaker, for the first time in history, we have constructed a new school block at Nkomeko Primary School with the help of CDF and also the help of the community of the Catholic Faith Organization Group from Germany. Madam Speaker, for the first time in history, we have constructed an Irish bridge between Ntandisi and Airfield. We have constructed an Irish bridge between Katsekaminga and Nsikawanjala using CDF. Madam Speaker, for the first time in history, we have constructed the first Kanyenda Sumbi timber deck bridge using CDF, and we have constructed a concrete deck bridge at Ngwaya going to Kasumbu, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, for the first time in history, Madam Speaker, I know they are not going to be able to understand, but I'm answering them because they have said the sonars that His Excellency has delivered, they have yielded nothing. So I'm explaining what has happened in Dedza. And Madam Speaker, in Dedza South, I'm the spokesperson here. I'm the one in charge for Dedza South, whether they like it or not. Because I'm speaking of what I have done with CDF, with what Rhodes Fund has done, with our developing partners, Madam Speaker, have done. Madam Speaker, since they have done nothing, let them take it easy and sit and listen to what we have done in Dedza. Because, Madam Speaker, history has it that this house, it has only maintained a 30% retention record. Madam Speaker, if 10% are coming in this house, yours and truly Dedza South is coming back in this chamber. Madam Speaker, I know they would not understand that using CDF we have constructed and renovated Jipazi Primary School. That is in Chencherere. Madam Speaker, Chirinjiro concrete deck bridge for the first time in history since Matipate. We have constructed and our kids are safe when they go to school. Madam Speaker, for the first time in history, Nsesa Primary School has been renovated using CDF. Madam Speaker, for the first time in history since Matipate democracy, Kasumbu Traditional Court has been renovated using CDF. Madam Speaker, for the first time in history, and I would like to place on record to thank the brother, his name is Faizo Abu, the owner of Pacific Limited, Madam Speaker. For the first time in history, he came to my constituency and he rehabilitated every single borehole. We had about 135 boreholes that were renovated and they are functional. All because of Faizo Abu, Madam Speaker. This is one fine Malawian gentleman that needs to be recognized in as far as development of the nation is concerned. Madam Speaker, for the first time in history, we have constructed...
Member, you have a minute to go.
Madam Speaker, can I please revoke Standing Order 210 so that at least I'm given more time because the projects are ongoing. I've only, Madam Speaker, mentioned only a quarter. Maybe if I can revoke Standing Order 210 so that we can waive.
You don't have that authority to do
so. That we can waive. And Madam Speaker, for the first time in history, we have... Madam Speaker, for the first time in history, we have constructed a borehole using CDF at Tomu Village. Madam Speaker, for the first time in history, Chikuse Health Center is powered with solar. Even in the maternity is powered solar, all powered by the President of the Republic of Malawi, Dr. Lazarus Makathe Chakwera. Madam Speaker, for the first time in history, you can remember very well, Madam Speaker, you came to my constituency in 2018 when we were doing campaign. We were having challenges with networks, Madam Speaker. But another fine gentleman to be recognized is the Managing Director of Airtel by the name of Charles Kamoto, who has made it possible to give us more than 6 towers in the South constituency, and Madam Speaker, we are not far from civilization anymore. Madam Speaker, I would also want to thank the Muslim Association of Malawi. With the fund from Kuwait, they have constructed a new secondary school in the name of Kalombo. Madam Speaker, this is a brand new secondary school at Machese, and the pupils and the students are there. Madam Speaker, let me also thank the President through the Director General of MACRA and the Minister of Information, my brother here, Honorable Moses Kunkuyu. They have given us a computer lab at Kalambo, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, for the first time in history, Madam Speaker, the people of the South constituency are Kusimbalo Goma. Madam Speaker, here, the reason why they call me back home, the Siberian bear, The reason why they call me Pulutsu, the reason why they call me Putin is because they know when I'm come to development, I'm constructing and I'm renovating the South as a whole. Madam Speaker, I'm back in this chamber come 2025 September. Madam Speaker, I'm back in this side of the House come September 2025, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, with the President of the Republic, Dr. Lazarus Makathecha Chakwera, I see those people that have got a long way and on the other side of the aisle. Take it easy. Kumeneko sindikumanda. Kopanda chembekezo. I submit, Madam Speaker. I support the SONA.
Thank you, South. Honorable member for Lilongwe City Southeast, I did recognize you, but I'm just looking at the time. Can I give you immediately after a health break, please? So, honorable member for Lilongwe City South will start immediately after health break. There's West, Chikwawa West, Mulanje West. Thank you. We'll take those four and then I'll take another round. So immediately after health break, Lilongwe City South West. Honorable members, it is 22 minutes to 4. I now suspend proceedings for health break. We shall resume sitting at 8 minutes past 4. House suspended.